problem with most people is that they don't believe something can happen until it already has. It's not stupidity or weakness. It's just human nature.
You're listening to Fun with Horror with your hosts, Scotty and Andrew.
Hello, all you beautiful people out there. Welcome to episode 140 of Fun with Horror, the most wholesome horror movie podcast in the entire world. I'm Scotty.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is the podcast in which two long-distance best friends stay in touch by taking turns giving each other horror movies to watch and discuss.
And I was lucky enough to pick the last movie, which was 2013's World War Z.
Whoa.
But of course, yeah, thank you. Stay tuned to the end of this episode where we are going to hear what Scotty picks for our next movie. But without further ado, hey, buddy, how are you?
Hi, buddy.
Hi.
You know what?
What?
We got stuff to talk about.
We have lots to talk about.
This is a new era for Fun with Horror.
Lay it on me, man. Let the people know.
I'll lay it on them, not you, but
I'll listen.
yeah, you already know. I don't know if you've noticed, everybody out there, but we have changed the subtitle of our podcast. Instead of a horror movie review podcast, we are now Fun with Horror, the wholesome horror podcast. And it's not something that Andrew and I set out to do.
Right.
It's just something that happened. We have been called wholesome many times. So we thought, why not, this many years later down the line, why don't we just embrace it finally?
I love it. I'm glad we're embracing it, man. We are, by gum, we are wholesome.
We are. We're pretty wholesome.
We are pretty wholesome. I think it's sweet. I think it's charming. I love it. I think it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So hey, buddy. Hey.
Hi. Hey. Hi.
I want to thank everybody out there for listening to us.
I don't. I'm just kidding. I do too.
I want to thank all of our patrons for being patrons with horror.
Yes. Thank you.
If you'd like, go subscribe to our Patreon and become a patron with horror. We just did an episode. Well, I did an episode with our friend Colby Does Horror.
Yeah.
It's one of our too extreme for Andrew episodes. And
Yay.
we're going to be doing more of those. We're going to be doing some more other things, you know, as it happens.
Yeah, man.
So,
yes, thank you. Seriously, thank you all for...
yeah, mostly awesome. It just goes to help us, and it helped fund Andrew's new microphone.
I know. Thank you all. I have the same mic as Scotty. So when you're listening, I hope I now sound as good as Scotty, because anytime I listen, I'm so captivated by him, and I blame the mic. So hopefully now I am too.
I don't blame you, buddy. I'm pretty captivated by myself.
You should be.
I also wanted to mention, thank you everybody for listening, and if you'd like to do us a favor, besides joining our Patreon, which helps support us, an easy, free favor is to go on Apple Podcasts. We don't ask this too often anymore, but
True.
If you haven't, go leave us a rating and a review. It really, really helps.
Definitely.
So thank you. Thank you, everybody that has done this in the past 3 years, and thank you for everybody who will in the future.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I need to print those out, I feel like, and just have them like next to my mirror and reread them every day. That's a good, help me feel better about myself.
I've already gotten them all tattooed onto my butt, so.
I wondered what that... Okay, I wondered.
Yeah. It's really small. So you have to get really close to read them.
Prove it.
We'll come back to LA, and I will. You know what else is cool, buddy?
What else is cool?
When I look at our listeners and our listens and see who's listening to us, how many people are listening to us, as I do once in a while. It also says where new listeners are, where they're located. And there is somebody who has tuned in to our podcast in Gulf Breeze, Florida, where I was born and raised.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if you're in Gulf Breeze, thank you for listening. And if I know you, hey, say hi. Say hi.
That is so cool. Oh, that's really fun. I hope they are listening to this, and it would be cool if it's someone you knew at one point or cross paths with. That'd be cool.
It's either cool or creepy.
True. Yeah.
And I hope it's the latter. I got other cool stuff, buddy. I got
Lay it
other
on
cool
me,
stuff.
man.
You ready?
Yes,
So,
please.
I'm on Threads. I'm our social media person, and so we are on Threads and Blue Sky, but it's me. It's me running it. There's a person I follow named Game Huntress on Threads, and she is in psychology. So she asked a question about horror movies and such, and it's a question that you and I have talked about quite a bit. It's about horror movies and mental health and stuff like that.
Okay, interesting. I'm listening.
What I said to her was, I was saying that in our podcast, we mostly focus on whatever movie we're reviewing, but we do talk about this a lot with each other. And I asked her if she was talking about how the movies themselves deal with heavy subjects or how people who watch horror movies deal with them. So this was her response, because it was really freaking cool. She said, I'd say both. The experience of grief, anxiety, and depression often show up as monsters, zombies, demons, and so on, giving those emotions a physical form. You also get these spaces that represent parts of the psyche, like haunted houses, where there's always one room that's off limits or feels especially terrifying or foreboding. Spaces like this usually symbolize something deeper, like buried trauma. And then she went on to say, I don't think most people watch horror to consciously deal with mental health distress or past struggles, but I do think the genre hits something subconsciously tapping into repressed feelings, letting people face their own fears and pain without even realizing it. Horror isn't afraid to confront fear and pain, and often morality goes out the window, which is really the key in processing emotions without judgment.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's some heavy stuff. I mean, we can probably end this episode so that everybody can just sit and think about that for hours.
And is this person writing a book anytime soon? Because I think they would do quite well. That was awesome. That was a really cool explanation. Wow, I love that, man. I really did.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's really awesome. Like it kind of blew me away when I read it. So,
well, I love that idea too of like, that we, subconsciously are almost fighting those demons or whatever it is by watching these. I think that's very interesting. I feel like you could unpack that and it could take a while. Man, that's really cool.
I totally agree. On a side note, something just fell in my apartment, and it's usually my cats doing something, but I have no idea what it was.
Well, I did just see a person behind you. Is that not a friend?
Yeah, no, I'm by myself.
Oh boy.
Well, Chucky's still in the same position, so I don't know.
Oh.
Ooh, my little Skinamarink phone is sideways now.
Oh, I actually, nope. Now it's on the ceiling.
Maybe it was Skinamarink.
Ugh, I hope not.
I hope so.
Well,
what a
yes.
great movie. Anyway,
yeah.
let's bring it down for a second, buddy.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we have to pay our respects to the great man Tony Todd.
Yeah.
This is our first episode since Tony Todd passed away, and I tell you one thing. I was really sad, obviously, when I heard the news. But one thing that really I was thankful for is that we don't do full series of movies here on the podcast usually because of how we pick our movies.
Right.
But I was so thankful that we did the entire Candyman series,
Definitely. Yep.
of all the series, and
yeah,
we had such nice things to say about Tony Todd in those episodes. So
Yeah, he was so cool. And you hear a bunch of stories. I was never lucky enough to get to meet him in person, but he's one of those people where every story you hear from, others that have met him, it's always good. Like, it's always that he was just kind and sweet and fun. I'm like, that's awesome. But it's awesome that's how he was, but it sucks that we lost him, man. What a bummer.
yeah. Yeah. So our hearts go out to his family and his friends and everything. So we miss you, Tony.
Definitely.
But again, thankful for that. Andrew.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back up.
Okay, yes. Hi. Let me drink some coffee real quick.
You know what this is? This is our Thanksgiving episode.
It is.
So what are you thankful for? Besides me, I know you're going to say me, so stop it. Stop it.
Then nothing. Well, I'm thankful for a lot. Yes, you. I'm thankful
stop
for. I know. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for friends. I'm thankful for this new mic. I'm thankful for this amazing podcast and the opportunities that we have with it.
Wait, real quick. You're not talking about the microphone. You're talking about that guy, Michael, who's sitting beside you.
Yeah. Mike, last name Ruffon. It's dumb. Sorry.
That was so much better than I thought it was going to be, though.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm sure I could keep going for a while, but what about you, buddy? What are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for zombies.
So the earliest mention of the word zombie was in a memo from Camp Humphreys in South Korea. We haven't had contact with them since, but this could lead us to the origin.
If we knew where this thing started, then we'd have a chance of developing a vaccine to stop it.
I didn't choose the
So we're sending Dr. Vosbach there to look for the source.
He's just a kid.
World War Z was directed by Marc Forster and written by
Marc Forster.
Forster.
Let's talk about this guy.
Oh, okay.
He has also directed such amazing action movies such as Finding Neverland, The Kite Runner, Christopher Robin, and A Man Called Otto.
Oh, well, all right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who was it written by?
It was written by Matthew Michael Carnahan, and the next two I know very well from many things, which is Drew Goddard and Damon Lindelof. Which is fun. I know.
Wow.
I know.
Well, it's also based on a book.
Oh, right. Yes.
Written by Max Brooks.
Thank you. That was what I was just about to say.
Who was in it, Andrew?
Let me tell you. There's a few people in this one.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt, kind of an unknown.
Yeah, I think he was in Dallas.
He might have been
he was in 21 Jump Street, like the old TV show. He was also in The Head of the Class.
Yep.
But it turns out he is kind of a horror icon because he was in Freddy's Nightmares as well.
That's right. He did have a bit part in Thelma and Louise, but not big. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's a cute one. All right. Okay. So Brad Pitt, he plays Jerry Lane.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Mireille Enos plays Karen Lane.
Karen with an I.
Yes, thank you. With an I. Like care in.
Why did they do this? Why did nobody's gonna see how she spells her name differently from other Karens? Like, what the hell?
I'll write Damon later. It's like, come on.
This movie.
What are you thinking?
Go ahead. Who else?
Daniella Kertesz. Kertesz as Sagan.
Uh-huh.
There's James Badge Dale as Captain Speak.
Who was in another fun with horror film.
He was The
Empty Man.
Empty Man. I was going to say Hollow Man, but I was like, that's not the right movie.
That's not the right movie.
No, The Empty Man with a 20-minute intro.
It's a good thing I'm here.
I know, thank you. Otherwise, we'd be talking about Kevin Bacon. Oh, 6 degrees. There we go.
Oh, hey, there we go.
We found it. Ludi Boeken as Jürgen Warmbrunn.
We'll talk about him later.
Yes, we will. I thought this was him, but good old Matthew Fox is in this for a brief moment as a parajumper.
A paratrooper or jumper.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And I wondered if that was because of Lost. If they with Damon and everything. I don't know.
I don't know. Keep going. Who else?
Fana Mokoena as Thierry Umotoni.
I didn't write that one down, but good job.
There you go. David Morse as the ex-CIA agent.
Yes, he didn't have a name. Ex-CIA agent.
Peter Capaldi, who people might know from Doctor Who, plays the Who Doctor, WHO, World Health Organization, which is great.
I saw that in IMDb and had a jolly little laugh.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
But now we need Pier Francesco Favino to also play Doctor Who at some point, because he was also a Who Doctor. Or Ruth Negga, who is also a Who Doctor. Or even Moritz Blebertrue, who is also a Who Doctor.
Oh, wow.
I do want to mention these ones, though. Fabrizio Guido was Thomas, or Tommy.
Okay.
And I feel like that one's necessary. And then you just told me how to pronounce it, and I'm going to mess it up.
Michiel Huisman,
Thank you.
who was in The Haunting of Hill House, which Andrew and I may finish at some point.
Probably.
Talking about on Patreon. We've done, 3 episodes?
Yeah. 3 of 10.
We got 7 to go.
Yeah, we're good. We'll get there.
We'll get there. We
get there.
promise.
Anyway, he played Elyes, and I think that's all we'll go through.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's all I
plenty.
have.
Okay, good. A lot of people in this one.
Andrew.
Yeah, buddy.
So you threw the entire world for a loop when you chose World War Z.
I did.
Out of all the movies that we could have chosen, some people might not even consider this a horror movie. Even though it is. I mean, it definitely is, but it's very much an action movie with zombies.
It is.
Now, Andrew, why did you pick World War Z, and what are your thoughts on this movie?
Well, let me tell you. So here's what I'm going to say first. Well, we recently, obviously, had Halloween, and during that month, we were feeling horror movies, obviously, and so I wanted a zombie movie. We started this movie called Little Monsters with Lupita Nyong'o, which I read had some really good reviews, and it was not great, buddy. Not great. She's great in it, but any movie where guys talk about women in a really gross way, I'm not all about it. And there's some scenes in this where a character is really, really talking about women in a very vile way, and I was like, not having this. So we said we need a zombie movie. Let's switch it up and find something else.
Unfortunately, that also means that I'm going to have to pick another movie at the end of this episode. So
Dang it. I knew it. No, so I wanted a different zombie movie, and I'd seen World War Z once way prior when it came out, and I don't remember anything about it. Even watching it this time, I was like, I don't remember any of this. But we said, let's do one that's kind of scary, and obviously that one kind of popped up. And man, buddy, I kind of fell in love with this movie. I was captivated the entire time. My wife and I were both like holding hands, like just kind of on the edge of our seats during a lot of this, and it was a blast. And it was one I was like, this would be fun to talk about. I hope. So that's why I picked it. I was like, let's talk about it. And I'd just seen it, so it was like, fresh on the mind, and why not? So that's
out of 5 stars, what do you give it?
I'd give this a 5-star out of 5-star, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, I would probably put this as my favorite zombie movie. I know. Oh, yes. And you. Scotty, obviously we know how I felt, but I'm very nervous. What did you think of this movie?
Well, let me get one thing out of the way.
Okay.
Brad Pitt is probably a piece of crap.
Okay.
He's got allegations that
he
abused Angelina Jolie, abused his children. So we don't condone that.
I didn't even know this. Yikes.
Yeah, I'll send you some articles.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
You might have picked a different movie.
Yeah. No, we don't condone that. And I don't read anything, man. So yeah, yikes.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. Yeah. So I was interested to see what my feelings watching this again would be.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole conversation to be had about watching movies starring somebody before stuff came out or before it was revealed the kind of person they might be
right
in real life. and how that, whether it bothers you or not, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So we're
that's a
not
whole
going to really
conversation.
have that conversation right now, except to say that I was able to separate it when I
Okay.
watched this movie, you know, separating the art from the artist and all that.
Right.
So the first time I saw this movie in theaters,
Mhm.
and I thought it was fine.
Hmm.
I hated the fact that it was a PG-13 movie
Okay.
because this was a zombie movie, and there's no reason a zombie movie should be PG-13.
Okay.
And there was absolutely scenes in this movie that I was like, this is stupid. Like when he, never mind, we're not spoiling anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, hold on. We'll get to that.
But there are scenes in this movie where I remember thinking that should have been a rated R scene. There should have been more blood there, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really happy when they released an unrated version on home video.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched that once, and I thought it was a big improvement.
Right.
Watching it again this time, I will honestly say that I think this is a very, very well done movie, a very good movie.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's not my favorite zombie movie ever.
Fair.
Not in a world where we have Night of the Living Dead and Day of the Dead.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
28 Days Later, and need I go on? Return of the Living Dead. But I think this is a very interesting take on zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's very well paced. And yeah, I give it 4 out of 5 stars, my friend.
Hey, I'll take that. All right.
Would you
I'll
not
take
take it if I gave it a different rating?
I'd probably quit.
Well, that said, we are about to now spoil World War Z.
Yes.
So if you have not seen it, first of all, watch the unrated version.
Yes.
The PG-13 version is crap. And I just realized what fell earlier. It's my phone. Where's my phone?
Oh.
Got it right here. Okay, so I am taking out my lucky virtual 20-sided die.
Yes.
I'm going to start to hit roll, Andrew. We are going to do a 3-minute recap. If I land on odd when you tell me to stop, you're going to do the 3-minute recap. If I land on even, I'm going to do the 3-minute recap, buddy.
Oh, boy.
All right, I am rolling the virtual 20-sided die right now, my lucky one, not the other one.
Oh, crap. Then stop?
It is odd. You are doing it. Your
boy.
5-star movie, you are about to do this.
Yes.
I refused to call Brad Pitt. So instead, you know what? I gave another phone call to our friend Michiel Huisman,
Oh, good.
who I talk to quite often after seeing him running along the Hollywood Reservoir.
Yeah.
And I was like, Michiel, who's your favorite 3-minute recapper? And without hesitation, he said, Andrew. Andrew
Obviously.
is my favorite. Even though I've never heard him do it because you guys don't do 3-minute recaps for The Haunting of Hill House.
That's true.
So you're his favorite. But I'm just warning you now also, if you come in over 3 minutes, buddy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to release this virus and the entire world will go to hell.
Oh, no.
We're all going to turn into zombies. Transmission in 12 seconds. 12 seconds, not minutes.
Yeah.
Seconds. So the entire world is depending on you and your 3-minute recap.
Oh, man. All right.
So you start whenever you want to, buddy.
Oh, boy.
It's all you now.
Oh, boy. Well, hopefully I can redeem myself after Cuckoo's disaster. But, here we go.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
All right. The movie starts with Jerry Lane and his family. They're on their way somewhere in New York City, and it's trafficy and crazy. And all of a sudden, things start going haywire. The whole cop car hits their car, or a motorcycle hits their car. Everyone's going nuts, and then people get out of their car and start running. He grabs his family, and they all start running. He then kind of turns around to see that there's people, zombies, but people are getting bit and biting, and when they bite, he's really smart, we find out, kind of pretty much at the beginning, and he pays attention to someone after they get bit, and counts in his head to 12 before they turn into a zombie. So he's thinking about that, and that comes into play later. They kind of escape, find another place to go to. This little family, the sweet family in this apartment complex with their son Tommy, they go in there and stay with them for a little bit. We find out at this time that Jerry was a United Nations investigator, so that's important. And he gets a hold of one of the captains or someone at the United Nations, or they get a hold of him and say, we need your help with this because you're a smarty pants. Let's stop this virus. We're going to get you to us. We're safe. We want you here, and you and your family. Jerry tries to tell this family, hey, come with us. We can get you to safety, but they refuse. And then they decide to leave and go to the roof where a helicopter is going to pick them up. Unfortunately, the zombies get the family, except Tommy, the little boy. During a scuffle up the stairs to the rooftop, there's a lot of zombies that come and a lot of fighting and killing. A little bit of blood from one of the zombies goes into Jerry's mouth or eye. I can't remember which one. It says mouth. I'm thinking of a different movie for the eye. It goes in his mouth, and he runs up to the roof and actually puts himself on the edge where his family's kind of sitting there. And counts to 12, because if it gets to 12 and he turns, he wants to jump off and make sure his family's safe. It's a pretty great scene. It counts to 12. It doesn't affect him. He's okay. Tommy gets up to them. The helicopter comes, starts blasting up the zombies, and they all get on the helicopter and fly to safety, which is on a U.S. Navy ship in the middle of the ocean. From there, we find out all these people are there to try and figure out, obviously, what's going on and how to find a cure. There's this doctor whose name is Andrew, and he is there and believes he might be able to find a cure. So they decide to go to South Korea, where they first heard about this happening. So they fly to South Korea with Andrew to see if they can find some clues, and of course Jerry goes as well with a team of SEALs. They get there, and there's other military there as well, and the zombies start coming out and chasing them after they land. And Andrew freaks out, starts running with the gun in his hand, and he's not a military guy, and trips and accidentally shoots himself in the head and dies. So our chance to find a cure. Anyway, Jerry goes in with the rest of the military, where they kind of talk about where this sort of started, and I guess there was like a prisoner there and a doctor there that this all started with, but they're all burned to death. They got burnt, and so there's no clues there. One of the prisoners there is an ex-CIA agent who went crazy and says, you need to go to, let me take a look, where did they go? Oh, Israel. They need to go to Israel to find, the next thing, try and figure out what to do. So he goes to Israel, and when he's there, everything is safe because they put a big wall up around Israel and the zombies can't get to people. So it seems like a pretty safe sanctuary. When he's there, though, he works with some of the military and some of the doctors there to try and figure out what's going on. And unfortunately, people start playing music, they think they're safe, and the zombies start climbing on top of one another, piling on each other, and go over this giant wall and start attacking everyone. But while this is happening, it's important because Jerry looks over and sees a kid that's standing there with all the zombies, and the zombies are just bypassing him. Nothing is trying to attack him. They get down to a little area where Sagan, who's part of the military in Israel, gets bit, and without even thinking, Jerry cuts off her arm and counts to 12 and realizes he stopped the infection. They run out, try and get this, stop a plane because a plane is about to leave. They get on the plane and they go to somewhere else. Again, we don't take notes, but I'm looking through mine to try and at least get the places right. Cardiff, the World Health Organization, the WHO, Doctor Who. They get there, they crash though on the plane, in the plane, their zombies start up again, and they throw a bomb that blows up. He throws a grenade that blows up the plane and crashes, and he and Sagan, though, live. They go to the World Health Organization where he passes out. It's then, though, that he tells the doctors there that he thinks he knows what's going on, and that when he saw that kid that got bypassed by the zombies, he realized that the kid had cancer. He obviously had a shaved head and looked a little bit sick. And so he realized that he believes that the zombies won't attack anything that's maybe unhealthy. So he thinks that if they inject themselves with some kind of disease that they have a cure for, that the zombies will bypass them. Well, of course, in this place that has the diseases that they can practice or try this on, the one room that has all these diseases has a bunch of zombies in it. So he takes a little crew in to go and find some disease to inject himself with. They get through all the zombies, and he's in this cold freezer with all these infections, and there's a zombie outside waiting for him, and he's kind of locked in. So he decides, I'm going to try it. He injects himself with a disease, opens the door, and the zombie just smells him or kind of nips at him a little and then walks away. And he realizes it worked. And so then there's a great moment where he walks through all these zombies and they're not even looking at him. He gets back. They realize it's the way to go. And he gets to go home with his family. And then at the end, we see that there's a vaccine being made to stop all this, or at least give people an edge. And that's World War Z.
Wow. So you were able to talk about that whole movie, but yet you still came in just under 3 minutes.
Woohoo!
That's amazing.
Yay.
Amazing.
Well, throw that virus away, friend.
It's gone. It's already. I already gave it to somebody else, so we're safe.
Okay.
Completely safe.
Good.
I gave it to RFK Jr., so we're good. Sorry, not sorry. So
Yes.
So I'm, here we go. This is a perfect movie for you. You have no issues with it. Nothing.
I don't. I'm very curious because I know you'll have some quibbles because obviously with the 4, there's going to be some things, but I don't have any, man. I really just had a fun time with this flick.
It's hard for me to say I have quibbles.
Okay. Okay.
My issues with the movie, they're just more nebulous than that. Like the way Trouble seems to follow Jerry around.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's an adventure.
Right.
And I love the sequence in Israel.
Yeah.
But I do sit there and laugh that Israel's fine until Jerry gets there.
Right.
And then at that point, somebody plays like it's. So what happens is there's somebody, they're letting people into Israel to be safe. And even without knowing what's going to happen, I'm sitting there going like, okay, so you think this wall, like there's a wall around this entire country? That's a pretty big wall.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, first of all, that's a little bit far-fetched to me.
I get that.
Whatever. There's a couple of far-fetched things in this movie. But yeah, I think it's funny that when Jerry gets there and he's talking to Jürgen Warmbrunn, that's when all hell goes loose and or everything goes to hell. These people are coming in and there's a woman and I think she's playing a prayer over the loudspeakers and the speakers start feeding back, which drives the tens of thousands of zombies outside the wall into a frenzy. And so then that's when they start crawling over each other, which I think was one of the big trailer moments, one of the selling points of this movie, watching these zombies just swarm over each other to get over this wall.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of funny. I think it's a little, it's just, you give it to the movie, but man, Jerry just gets in all these situations and is able to escape without so much as a scratch because otherwise he'd be turned into a zombie.
Right.
Another far-fetched thing to me is imagining that everybody in North Korea, which, I mean, North Korea is a terrible place, but it is said by the ex-CIA agent when they land the plane, David Morse, that in 24 hours they extracted all the teeth of millions of people in North Korea because if you can't bite somebody, you can't transmit the disease.
Right.
That was kind of interesting.
I don't know, man. I feel like I bought that.
In a day?
I bought
in one
that.
day.
Yeah.
Pulling everybody's teeth.
I bought it. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I mean, I didn't buy it. I accepted
you didn't bite
I did
it.
not buy it. That's not it. No.
Sorry. Gosh,
You're fired.
dang it. I'm so sorry, everybody.
There's just something, I don't know, man. I like the movie. I like the movie a lot. I love every set piece in the movie. I think they're exciting. I do, without the controversy, without the accusations against him, or the allegations, I should say, I do think Jerry should have been played by somebody else.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They got Brad Pitt because he's a big name, and he also produced the movie, so he helped to get it made.
Right.
But as much as I liked him at that time, and I had no problem with him as an actor, he's not Jerry to me. Like, he's not this genius guy. He's an action guy, you know?
Right,
He's
yeah.
like a good-looking action star.
I get
And I just wish they'd gotten somebody kind of more normal, you know?
I get that. Yeah, I understand that.
And I would have bought the character a little bit more. That said, these are small quibbles, you know?
Right.
4 out of 5 stars.
Question, just out of curiosity, did you read this book or no? Or have you read
I
it?
did.
Oh, you did? Okay. Nice.
I did. I read this book, I think, before the movie came out.
Okay.
I don't remember the book. I don't remember what this movie incorporates from the book, but
Mhm.
I will say that the book, World War Z, for those who don't know, again, it was written by Max Brooks, Mel Brooks' son.
No way.
Yeah. Yes, way.
Oh, that's
Yes.
really cool. Random.
Yes.
Wow.
At least as far as I know. I mean, back then I heard that he was Mel Brooks' son. Maybe that was debunked since then, and I'm just being an idiot, but
That sounds right. It sounds cool to me. I'm going with it.
the book is written as an accounting. It's not written in a normal plot-driven fashion.
Oh, okay.
It's written as a series of interviews and news media articles. I forget how many years after the zombie war has passed.
Okay.
So the zombie war has happened. It's been defeated, I think, and now this is a recounting of that time, you know? So the book is really interesting, and it's written in a really cool way that there's no way they could have done as a movie.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
So I don't think I ever had a problem with how the book was adapted.
Right. That makes sense. I get that.
So I think what I'd like to do with you, buddy, is go over the different, because every sequence in this movie is a big set piece.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just kind of go through these. So first we have...
Wait, real quick before we do that.
No,
Sorry.
No, I'm not waiting.
Sorry. No, one thing I did want to say, and this is totally just because I said it earlier, where I was like, this is my favorite zombie. I did make a rule in my head when I said this, though, is I wouldn't count... I would count this as more like realistic zombies. I'm not counting comedies or ones that I find humorous. So like Shaun of the Dead or Return of the Living Dead. Those ones mean a lot to me. And so I'm just going to preface that. That's all I wanted to say. But I think this movie's great.
I'm not sure if I accept that.
Well, you have to.
Because those are zombie movies.
They are, but they're comedies. And this one's not a comedy. This was not a funny
Return
movie.
of the Living Dead is... It's not made to be a comedy. It's got some humorous aspects to it, but it's still a horror movie.
Yeah, but
Whereas
I would...
Shaun of the Dead is a horror comedy.
For sure. But Return Man, I don't know. It is a horror, but... And maybe at the time it was made, too. Like, maybe it's because we watch it now, there's certain things that are funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I count as horror comedy, so... Blah, blah, blah. Anyway... Set pieces.
So you would put Shaun of the Dead above this?
I don't know. I gotta think about it. That's all I'm saying. Those two movies are near and dear to my heart, so I'd have to think. But I probably would. Put
it's the desert island scenario. If you
It
can only
really
take
is.
World War Z or Shaun of the Dead to a desert island with you, or if
I
you
would
can
probably
only
take
watch
Shaun of the
one
Dead.
of them, there you
I'd take
go.
Shaun of the Dead. Yeah, I
All
would.
right. So World War Z is your favorite zombie movie, asterisk.
There you go. Yes, yes. Thunderbolts asterisk. Yes.
Yes. So anyway, Philadelphia, that was a cool scene.
It's a great scene. What I like too about this is we get so many, and don't get me wrong, I love when zombies are slow because I think those are fun, and I feel like I'd have this sounds awful, but if that was like real life, I'd do all right. I'd be okay because they're so slow. You got a pretty good chance. When zombies are fast, they're horrifying. Like, I'm not a fast guy, so I know that they would chase me down and eat me. So that scene to me, when you see them booking it, is scary to me.
Yeah, I get you. I like running zombies for sure.
Yeah, me too.
I am not a huge fan, even though I thought it was a really cool take on zombies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge fan of the 12-second transmission and the really fast replication and turning everybody into zombies.
Mm-hmm.
It just, I don't know, like it makes the rest of the movie seem less realistic to me.
Mm.
because I just feel like with a 12-second transmission like that, it's just really far-fetched for me to believe that anybody would survive that.
Right.
Again, these are very small quibbles, 4 stars instead of like 2 or 3.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's just something I would have rather seen somebody else play Jerry, and I'd rather see a movie where the transmission takes a little bit longer than 12 seconds.
Okay. All right.
That's all.
I'm good with that.
But
yeah.
tell me more about this opening scene. What'd you love about it? Tell me what you loved.
Kind of everything. I love it's so claustrophobic, this scene, because everyone, I mean, it's a city of people obviously running away. So, I mean, we've seen this before in other movies where there's like monsters or whatever, but for some reason, this one just felt, maybe it's because, I don't know, I'm trying to think out loud, I guess. Sometimes if we've seen like big monsters, it's less claustrophobic because they're not right there, they're so far away. But when we see like zombies, they're really close and it just makes everything condensed and you got to run and there's more of them and there's a bunch of them everywhere. And I don't know, it just felt so claustrophobic. And the fact that, you know, our main character has a family as well makes everything 100 times scarier, more intense, because he has these 2 little girls as well that he's trying to protect. And his wife is awesome. She's like obviously kicking butt too. But it's still, when you have kids, it just feels like, get them out of there. Like, do whatever you can to get those kids to safety. So it just was so intense, man. It's claustrophobic and intense.
You're bringing up these little quibbles I have with the movie. Again.
Oh, no.
Again, it's not just Jerry surviving this. He's also somehow able to get his family of 4 to these places of safety without anything happening to them.
Yeah, man. See, I look at that, though, as, yeah, it might be unrealistic, but I'm going to tell you what, if I have my family of 4 in this situation, I'm going to do anything and everything to make sure that they get to safety no matter what. So I looked at it as like, you know, there's like, a moment where I can't remember if he puts on the magazine at that point or if it's later. Maybe it's later. But I feel like he's doing anything to just make sure, like, that they're safe. He's like, I think he's in the back running behind them as well. There's just things that I'm like, yeah, that I would absolutely do that. So, you know, I mean, your adrenaline's going, you're worried about your family, you're going to do anything to make sure that they stay safe. So to me, I was like, yeah, I'm going with it. You're going to make sure that family gets to safety no matter what.
No, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you.
Oh, good.
But the question of would you succeed is the thing. Like they're running through this crowd of where everybody's being turned into zombies, and oh, good, there's a motorhome right here.
Right?
Yeah. How convenient.
Hey, sometimes luck happens, man, and we just, you know what? Hey, it worked out.
It would have been cool if they had tried multiple cars that were locked, and then here's one that's open. You know.
That's true. I like that. Yeah.
But, you know, again, I'm just going to keep reminding you, 4 out of 5 stars. This is not big issues I have with the movie. It's just things I thought about while watching.
No, I get that.
Like, oh, that's cool. He just survived with all of them.
Yeah.
And then, like, you even have, like, they get kicked off the aircraft carrier. But they're fine. They're in Nova Scotia or whatever.
Oh,
They're fine. It's all good. Like, who cares if they got kicked off the aircraft carrier? They're still safe.
Oh, yeah, dude. That was heartbreaking because they're like, well.
But why? Why? They're fine. Who cares?
Well, yeah, they were fine. But, like, you know, they were worried that it was. What made me sad is, like, you're only safe here because we need your husband. If anything happens to him, you're gone. And they can't get a hold of him. So, like, bye. I was like, geez, that's cutthroat.
It is cutthroat, but I did get it. You know,
I get it.
They explain at the beginning of their time on the aircraft carrier that this is essential personnel only. They do not have room for extra people. So the only reason that they are allowed on that aircraft carrier is because he is essential.
Right. No, I
so yeah,
totally
it sucks.
get
but
it.
You
That
know,
sucks.
if there was something else, like some scenes where they're trying to survive zombies in this little village or something, you know, I don't know, that might have been cool. But I thought it was funny. I think the doctor, the virologist, I thought that was funny. That cracked me up. when he shoots himself in the head.
Like I said, I didn't remember anything, so that was so unexpected. I was like, oh my gosh. And then you sit there and it's that moment of like, oh, our chance. Like that was the guy that, ugh.
So that was a problem I had the very first time I saw the movie. Because you have this PG-13 rated movie and a scene where this guy accidentally falls and shoots himself in the head. Even in the R-rated version, I'm sitting there thinking, wait, what happened? Because it's not super clear. It's dark. And I was like, wait, what? And then, Jerry comes along and he says, he shot himself. And I'm like, oh, of course, yeah, he shot himself. It was very unclear in the PG-13 version what exactly he had done.
Gotcha.
Because I think he falls, the gunshot, there's all kinds of noise. So to me, at least, the gunshot was not loud. And I'm just like, oh, okay, he shot himself. And, and I thought it was kind of funny instead of tragic.
I mean, it totally caught me off guard. I was not at all expecting that. Like, I knew he would, die, I figured, because that's just how movies work. But I didn't realize it was going to be that quick and that abrupt,
Yeah. Going back on what I've said.
Okay.
And accepting the fact that Jerry will do anything to protect his huge family of 18.
It's 4.
I do appreciate the fact that he is smart.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the steps that he takes to protect them.
Yes.
I thought that was very cool. I love when he gets a little bit of blood in his mouth that he runs to the ledge of the roof of the building and he's ready to throw himself off if he feels anything.
Yep. That was a great scene.
I also really liked the way, do you remember the way he counted to 12 when he was watching the person turn into a zombie? Because he wasn't counting. He was hearing his daughter's wind-up toy in his head. The train's about to leave the station.
Right.
1, 2, and then at the end, the train has left, and then there's all this noise,
Right. Yep.
And all hell breaks loose. I love that. I do love that. That was very cool.
I'm with you.
I love that he gets everybody killed wherever he goes. It's very funny to me.
It's just bad luck.
These military guys that are holding up pretty well at this airfield that they land in, which I didn't know was South Korea. I was blind, I guess.
No, I think they only said it once, if I remember right, and it was quick. So I took notes like afterward, kind of looking up some stuff, and was like, okay. South Korea. So it was quick.
Yeah, because I thought they were going to South Korea, but then they had to land earlier because of fuel.
Oh, right.
I know they did have to land because of fuel, but it's like, they just happened to land in this airport. This is the other thing, a little tiny quibble. So they're in this military facility, this airfield, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
With these military guys.
Mm-hmm.
And after he talks to the ex-CIA agent who extracts his own tooth while he's talking to him.
That was weird.
Because he's gone a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
After all this, he finds out about Israel and that he's got to get to Israel because Israel has built a wall. And so he's got to leave, right?
Right.
Why leave at night? Like that bothered me. I was like, I know you're in a hurry. I know you got to get to where you're going. I know you got to get there. But, and I guess the answer is because there's no time. Like,
right.
Like time is precious right now and he's got to get where he's got to go. But my main thought at that point was like, you can't see anything, guys. Like, wait till morning.
Yep.
Wait till morning when you can see zombies, whatever. Yep. So that kind of bothered me, but I know time is of the essence.
There you go.
But then he gets to Israel and he gets Israel killed.
That's true. But before that, I did like that they used bicycles. Obviously it pans out or it, ends badly, but I kind of liked it because they're so quiet. You don't hear like thump, thump, thump when you're running. The bike is quiet. And I was like, that's smart. Like, I would never have thought of that. But then when you watch it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. It's quiet. So
it does make sense.
It's cool.
Even though they still get tackled.
Because he hits the fence.
Yeah, what an idiot.
Or no, his phone, his phone goes off?
Yeah.
His phone goes off.
Yeah, why was your phone not on vibrate?
Yep.
You freaking idiot. That bothered me.
Well,
That
wasn't it
bothered me,
because
buddy.
it's a satellite phone?
Come on, you can put those on silent. I'm sure.
Probably.
I'm sure you can put a satellite phone on silent. A satellite phone.
A satellite.
A satellite fine.
That's right.
I don't know. Maybe you can't. But
I don't know.
I was like, man, it was just such a trope.
It absolutely was a trope, but
She happens to call at the exact moment that they have to be the quietest. Why didn't you call her? Why didn't you call her and say, honey, we're about to do this thing, so I'm not going to be able to talk to you.
there you go.
Take care of the kids.
You have the answers, man.
I do. I could have written a slightly smarter movie than Damon Lindelof. No, I love Damon Lindelof. By the way.
I know. Me too.
And by the way, I don't know. I'd have to look up the writing credits.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how much of this movie Lindelof actually wrote.
Oh, okay.
I know they wrote some, but I think the guy you mentioned, the first writer, is the one who wrote the majority of the movie.
I mean, that would make sense.
But anyway, Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
So I mean, obviously, I've never been to Israel. I don't know if there's even parts of a wall already set up. I really have no clue. I have no idea whatsoever. I didn't research it. I probably could or should have. So I don't know if maybe they had anything where you're like, oh, that makes sense. If I've been there, then they already have this, whatever. If they don't, you're right. That was a very fast time to put up a gigantic wall around this entire city. So,
although that's the point. That's the point. Israel somehow knows that this is coming.
That's true. You're right.
So they were already building a wall, but they
right.
built it even faster. Now, I will say something. I don't want to get political here, and I'm not going to.
Okay.
But there is a moment because Jerry meets Jürgen Warmbrunn.
Right.
I forget who he is in Israel, but he's high up.
Right, yeah.
And Warmbrunn makes this comment about how this has brought the Israeli people and the Palestinian people together and how some good has come out of this. And I was just like going, ooh.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. This was definitely made in 2013.
Yes. Yeah.
And not 2024. So,
yes. You're right.
But I did make a note of that thing. Let me go backwards real quick because I got a couple of cool behind the scenes things.
Ooh, yes, please.
The Philadelphia scene, all of that was filmed in Glasgow.
Really?
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's wild. Yeah, wow. Okay, very cool.
Yeah, they were able to shut down parts of the city of Glasgow so they could film that, and then they CG'd backgrounds behind the buildings and stuff to make it look like Philadelphia.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
That's very cool. Wow, I did not know that. That's awesome. That's really cool.
And the aircraft carrier that they were on was a real aircraft carrier.
Oh, cool.
It was dry docked, but they filmed it all on a real aircraft carrier using some green screens behind some of the actors.
Right. Okay. Very cool.
And they had actual National Guardsmen as the military people in Philadelphia because they had National Guardsmen there to consult them and to make sure everything was handled as realistically as it would be if something like this happened.
That's cool. I love that. That's really cool.
But my favorite, all this is leading up to my favorite behind the scenes little nugget of knowledge that I saw in the behind the scenes stuff. Okay, so we get to the part where the zombies are invading Israel and turning everybody else in Israel into zombies.
Right.
Jerry looks back and he sees the little bald kid.
Right.
And all the zombies running around him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the zombies crawling up the walls and the zombies climbing over each other to get to the helicopter, obviously CG.
Yeah, right.
And you can tell a lot of times. It's pretty good CG, but there's certain movements that you can see that you're like, ooh, okay, that's CG. But every person that runs around that little bald kid is CG. There are no real people in that scene.
No way.
That is impressive to me.
I would have never thought that. That's crazy. Wow, that's cool, man. That's wild.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Also, in the next scene when Brad Pitt throws a grenade in the airplane, that actually he did that. He threw a grenade in a real commercial liner and crashed in the plane with it. So when he survives that plane crash, he survived in real life a real plane crash because he threw a grenade in the middle of a plane.
What is he, Tom Cruise doing his own stunts?
Right?
Is this Mission Impossible 8, 9?
I'm just pulling your leg, pal.
Oh, shucks. You got me.
Yeah.
Wholesome.
The people running around the bald kid were real, or were really CG. But
That's crazy. That is crazy to me.
the airplane was a set. I love that airplane scene, even though it's okay. So I get this weird feeling with this movie, pal. Maybe you can explain it.
Okay.
I'm not scared. Like, it doesn't scare me when they're in the plane. I just feel like this hopelessness, and it's like this kind of this frustration. Like, now they're in this plane. There was a zombie in the elevator, the plane elevator, and it gets out, and everybody starts turning. And Jerry, I don't even want to say his name. Jerry sees what's happening, and he tries to make barricades, and of course everything goes crazy. And his last resort is to throw the grenade.
Right.
And then only him and Segan survive.
Right.
Interesting.
He gets stabbed
because they were wearing their seatbelt.
And their tray table was up.
Yes, and their seats were also in the upright position, from what I could tell.
Then that makes sense, Scotty.
It does make sense. Yeah, I guess it makes perfect sense. Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Do you feel fear in that scene?
More anxiety than fear. Just yeah.
Like it's a different thing. So we have let's bring up what I think is probably maybe the best zombie movie I've seen, Train to Busan.
I was just gonna say that because I was similar, like setup. Yeah.
Train to Busan has, they're on a train and zombies are trying to get up the train to the living people, whatnot. So in this, I kind of got that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't feel fear. I just feel like this frustration, like really? Like now all these people are turning and, and I don't know how I felt when I first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Jerry's going to survive, but it's like, what's he going to do now? Like what,
Right.
And it's not like a fun James Bond kind of how's he going to survive.
Right.
James Bond gets in situations and you're like, oh, how's he going to get out of this one? And it's fun to see how he does it.
Right.
I just have this kind of this frustrated feeling, and then he does a pretty cool thing,
Right. I guess I'm different than you then, because when I watched, I had that James Bond moment of like, how are they going to get out of this? Because this is a very impossible situation, and again, not remembering what he did. So I'm like, it's the two of them against an entire plane of zombies.
Would you say it's a mission impossible?
No, but
no, not at all.
But so then when he does throw the bomb or the grenade, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is wild. Clearly this will not be good, what happens next. But it definitely, as I'm sitting there watching this entire plane come to them, I did go like, now what? So it was fun to watch him improvise and have sort of a literally like a last ditch effort or whatever it's called.
Right.
I liked it.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I remember a lot of people mentioning, oh, it's really convenient that this plane crashed and everybody's dead except for Jerry and Segan or Sagan. Sega!
There was a guy in real life, and I can't remember everything that happened. I'm just throwing this out there. What? It was a true story. He got into, I think it was like, and don't quote me on this. I can't remember exactly. It was wild though. It's a true story. Got into like two.
Don't touch your hair, by the way. Don't touch your hair right now. It looks perfect.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Stop it.
Touch it.
No, this guy got into 2 plane accidents and was, I think, the only one to survive or one of the only ones.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Did we
was
talk about
Evil
this?
Dead. Yeah, the person at the beginning of Evil Dead. He
Oh, is
survived
that
not one but 2 plane crashes, and that's why his face is like the real person who they had playing the guy with the burned face in the beginning of Evil Dead, the remake. Yeah, we talked about this. That was you and me talking about it, pal.
Well, there you go. Well, see, and live.
I like how so much of our interactions you've just blocked from your memory.
Honestly, it's mostly just due to like
Hatred.
yeah. Just like Cindy, after we do record, she's like, "How'd it go?" I'm like, "I don't know." I blocked it out. Every time I see that Scotty, I'm done.
Yeah. It's fun being on a podcast by myself.
Yeah. It gives 4 out of 5 stars to this. So yeah.
So Matthew Fox has a small part in this movie.
Dude, I didn't. So I saw him like once, and I was like, "Is that Matthew Fox?" And then you see him again one more time for like 5 seconds, and I was like,
Yeah.
That's it. Like that was my initial thought. Was like, "That's okay, cool."
Then he parajumps to his death, I guess. So because we never see him again.
Yeah, it was just so random. I was like that, and this was 2013. So I'm trying to think when Lost ended. Like I feel like he was.
I mean, maybe it was just a cameo. Like they're
Maybe.
like, yeah, we'll just throw you in this movie real quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said with Lindelof there, who wrote Lost.
See, okay, let's talk about this.
Oh, okay.
I think Matthew Fox would have played a better Jerry. I think Matthew Fox would have been perfect as Jerry.
Maybe he was. Well, no, because it's Brad Pitt producing.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I think Matthew Fox would have been a good Jerry.
He would have been good. Yeah, I agree with that. He would be good.
Then we have the whole WHO sequence, that whole thing. Which, okay, so here's the part of the movie in which I felt tension.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I felt tension, even though in my mind I'm going, oh, they're going to get almost to where they're going, and then somebody's going to make a noise, and it's going to attract the zombies, and then there's going to be a merry chase.
Yep.
Here's the thing, Jerry goes with how many people? 2? 2 people, or just the guy?
No, there's 2. No, Sagan goes 2.
Oh, Sagan goes, right.
Yep.
That's the tension. Jerry's going to make it because it's Brad Pitt. But is Sagan and the other guy from the WHO, the other Doctor Who, is he going to make it?
Yes. That's good.
Woo, woo, woo. Sorry, that's the Doctor Who theme song. Okay, had to do it. I
We're
love
gonna
that
get
show.
sued.
We're not going to get sued because it was a parody.
Oh yeah, parody law. Yes.
Yeah, I did like that, and I liked this scene. I like the whole thing. I love the end where Brad Pitt injects himself with a disease he has no idea what it is.
But it makes sense though, because you're like, well, he's dead either way. I mean, or at least, if he leaves, he's gonna get eaten. He can't stay in there forever. It's like, well, you got nothing. I mean, you have to at this point try it, and it worked.
It worked, and there was no noticeable change that came over him.
I know.
He was just normal.
Yeah.
Like, it must have been the best disease he could have picked. Because he wasn't even sweating.
I mean, to be fair, though, like a disease, it takes a little bit. I'll give it to them.
I don't know. If you eject yourself with it, I think that's pretty quicker.
I'm just going to go with I'm
pretty
not a
quicker.
scientist.
Pretty quicker.
We're not doctors. I don't know.
I don't know, but pretty quicker is terrible grammar.
It ain't
That's all
not
I'm
bad
thinking right now.
Ain't
It ain't not bad. You said a full of mouth, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
So this is the point in the movie where I'd like to talk about the music.
Yes. Yeah.
Marco Beltrami was the composer. Now, this is a cool thing because if you look at the soundtrack, it just says music composed by Marco Beltrami.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at his soundtracks that he's released, a really cool thing is that you start to see score by Marco Beltrami and Brandon Roberts. Now, Brandon Roberts went on to score like Thanksgiving.
Oh, cool. Okay.
For Eli Roth.
Yeah.
Which, hey, happy Thanksgiving episode, everybody. So
look at that. Full circle.
when I watched the behind the scenes, there's a segment on Marco Beltrami composing the score, and he mentions, I just want to say a special thanks to so-and-so and Brandon Roberts for helping.
Oh.
So it's really cool that Brandon Roberts has been helping Marco Beltrami with his scores and now is doing his own.
That's cool.
I just love that.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Did you have any thoughts about the music, first of all?
I liked it. I liked it in this one. I think it added to a lot of the scenes, just making it more intense, or it just made your heart pound just a little faster, I think. So, in a few scenes.
Was it memorable to you at all? Anything?
There's not like we've talked about this. I can't think of like a theme or something where I was like, oh, that's maybe there is, but I can't think of one.
Ow. So again, I like Marco Beltrami's a good composer, but he composes music that is kind of themeless in a way.
Okay.
Like there's no real World War Z theme that I can pick out.
Right.
Maybe there is to somebody who is classically trained or whatever. Although I really like the music at the end of the movie. The scene where Jerry is walking through the corridor of zombies and they're walking past him, the music is really beautiful there.
I agree. Yes.
And there's a lot of music around that point in the movie that's really nice. I listened to the soundtrack, and the majority of the music on the soundtrack is just background action music.
Gotcha.
Which is really good. I mean, he does a great job at it, but it's nothing that you're like afterwards thinking, oh, that theme.
Right.
However, if you watch the movie at the very beginning, it says something like music by Marco Beltrami and Matthew Bellamy. Matthew Bellamy is the lead singer of Muse.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I was thinking, why did he get the credit? There is a Muse song during the end credits, but honestly, this is one of those movies. We've had movies where you have a composer, but some of the other songs that they source are better than the composer's music, and you think it's part of the score.
Right.
But then you listen to the soundtrack album, and it's not on there. And I was thinking about that with the opening credits of this movie. There's this really cool piano song that builds, and that is a Muse song that I just totally didn't recognize.
Oh, wild. Okay.
It's off their album, The Second Law, and it's called The Second Law Isolated System.
Okay.
It's a great piece of music, and to me, it's the most memorable piece of music in the movie. So it's a shame that the most memorable piece is just a Muse song and not Marco Beltrami's score, because he is a very talented composer, and I do like him.
That's fair. I get that.
Yeah, so that's the movie. What else you got for me, buddy?
Let me double check, but I think that's it. Yeah, that's all I got.
I did not feel it, but there was a 3.4 earthquake in Fontana, California, 50 miles away from me. So I didn't feel it, though.
Well, good. I'm glad you didn't feel that.
Yeah, because I'd be freaking out right now.
I know.
And that just means it's time for 3 questions, pal.
All right.
Who would cross the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3.
Question number 1.
Yes.
What did you think was the best kill or death in this movie?
I got to go with Andrew Faustbach, I think is his last name. But, I mean, like we said, him accidentally shooting himself was just so out of nowhere and got me. So I got to go with that.
I am too.
Nice.
Although Tommy's parents get a runner-up because they're so stupid.
Yeah. I know.
Like you have a guy who works with the United Nations telling you that people who stay put die.
Right.
And the people who move around are the ones who survive. Although they would have gotten kicked off the aircraft carrier anyway, so who cares?
That's true. That is true.
Question number 2, my friend. Do you think World War Z is scary?
To me, I wouldn't call it scary. I would say I was more kind of on the edge of my seat for a lot of it. I slept fine that night. Zombies don't necessarily scare me, I think, but I was definitely feeling anxiety for this movie, or during this movie. So, no. What about you?
No, not at all. I will say that to something you said earlier, zombies don't scare me, but there was something very tense and fearful about the idea of this virus spreading so quickly.
Yeah.
As a virus movie, I think this movie is pretty scary in a way.
Yeah.
Real life scary.
Yep.
But then it's zombies, which will never exist. So
I know.
Although I will say it was kind of cool. I do remember. Do you remember the guy in Florida on bath salts that was eating somebody?
Oh,
and they show a quick clip of him at the beginning of this movie during the credits. I thought that was cool.
I did too. No, I know. I remember like thinking, man, if someone like put a bunch of bath salts in something, some food or something, like would we get the zombie apocalypse? I remember thinking that I was in LA when that happened. I remember that.
Yeah, you were here. Finally, question number 3, Andrew.
Yeah.
Did you have fun with horror?
I did. I had a great time with this movie, man. What about you?
Yeah, I did. Despite my quibbles, that turned out to be a little bit more than I thought, and the fact that this movie's probably gone down to a 3.5 now. Just kidding. It's still a 4. Look at you shaking your head. But no, I did have fun with horror.
Good. Yay.
Hooray for Matthew Fox.
The noise. Are they drawn to it?
Yeah. Sound draws them. Body shots only seem to slow them down. Headshots do the trick, but just to be safe, we tend to burn them when we can.
You fought any Zeke yet?
Yeah. Where?
Philly, Newark.
Good.
All right, buddy. I kind of threw you and I feel like our listeners for a loop with my last pick, especially since there's a lot of newer movies out here, which I have a feeling you might pick one, but I'm not positive, buddy. I never know. So I'm curious, what's our next movie?
Well, buddy, for our first movie in December,
Yes.
I'm going to pick something that has nothing to do with Christmas.
Okay.
I think you have one movie in mind that you think I'm going to pick, and I'm not going to pick that one.
Okay.
So my next movie is a somewhat recent movie.
Okay.
It's from this year, and that movie is called Strange Darling.
Yes. Awesome. Okay. I've been waiting for this one. I'm so excited. Actually, my brother was just talking about this. He loved it.
Oh, he saw it. He saw it and loved it.
He saw it and
Good.
loved it. Yeah,
Nice.
we just the other day. So that's awesome. I'm so excited. Yay.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad you're excited. I just bought another movie on Apple that you might have seen on there and thought I might pick it. So I was like, that's a nice decoy.
Stinker.
But no, this is actually, okay, so remember back when we talked about Cuckoo and I said that I had seen a movie that after I picked Cuckoo,
Yes.
that I was like, oh man, I would have picked this if I had remembered that this was on home video. It was Strange Darling.
Nice. Okay. Awesome.
Because I've seen this movie. I think it's wonderful. I think it's a great movie, and I really am excited for you to see it.
This is one I've been like waiting for, but I haven't been looking to see what's out. So, I'm really excited. I'm so excited, dude. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. For everybody out there, at the time of this recording, which is pretty early, so who knows what will change by the time this episode comes out.
Oh, right.
But at the time of this recording, Strange Darling is only available to rent or purchase.
Mm-hmm.
But keep your eye on justwatch.com and maybe it'll be streaming somewhere, or just buy it.
Yeah.
Support indie filmmakers and buy it.
Definitely. I agree with that, man. Yes.
Support Fun with Horror and become a patron.
I also agree with that.
Or support us with no money and leave us a review or rating.
I agree with that too.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening to Fun with Horror.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We are very thankful, sincerely, to each and every one of you.
I second that.
We don't look at our listener count really as like, oh, we need to get more listeners or anything like that.
Right.
What we do is we look at it and we're just happy that more people are listening and enjoying, hopefully, unless they're just hate listening.
Oh, man.
God, I hate this podcast. I have to go to the next episode. Maybe it gets better.
Good.
So, yeah, we're very thankful. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. Andrew, are you thankful for everybody that listens to us?
I am so thankful for everybody that listens. I mean, it's like you said, it's heartwarming, honestly, when we see that people are listening and enjoying, hopefully, enjoying, but it's nice. It really, it means a lot. So definitely, I'm right there with you. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
I think I'm just really thankful that in 3 years we've gone from 7 listeners to now 11. We have 11 of you.
We get 12 sometimes. Sometimes.
12 sometimes.
Yeah.
That's the person that's hate listening.
That's exactly right.
They're flagellating themselves with a whip, with
a belt,
with little sharp things at the end of it.
Oh no!
I forget what you call those.
I don't even know. I know what you're talking about. I don't know a name.
Anyway, on that note, Andrew,
Scotty,
I love you, buddy.
I love you too, buddy.
I hope you have a wonderful and happy Thanksgiving.
I hope you do too. Happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. We love you.
Yes, we love you. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Gobble, 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 gobble. That was a turkey.
Thank you.
Here comes the number 12 train. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Trains in the station.